Hi guys, my name is Joe, and my channel is Fighting Words, the martial arts library. And this is a segment I call Media Fight Monday, where I take a fight scene from TV, movie, animation, etc., and I give it a play-by-play, and then I grade it based on realism and on storytelling. Today we're looking at a fight scene from the movie They Live, which was by John Carpenter, came out in 1988. This fight scene involves David Keith and Roddy Piper, the professional wrestler. And as a bit of a story behind this, allegedly, according to IMDb, this fight scene was only supposed to take about 20 minutes originally. And Piper and Keith decided that they could do something really special if they were given more time. The fight in total winds up being over 5 minutes long. As for the backgrounds of the people involved, Roddy Piper, as I mentioned, is pretty famous as a professional wrestler. I know he's had some grappling and judo training with Gene LeBell. I don't know what formal fight training he has had past that. He did sort of have a reputation as one of the tougher guys in professional wrestling. David Keith, as far as I know, doesn't have any particular fight background. If you've consumed media from the 80s until today, you'll recognize him as, among other things, the voice of Goliath, the Gargoyles TV series, and also from the short-lived hit show The Cape. So, as we open up here, the story of They Live is aliens are low-key invading Earth, but they're disguised, and you gotta wear these special sunglasses to see anything. Roddy Piper's character has had this revealed to him, and he's trying to get David Keith, who he's basically just met, to put on the glasses. He's looking for a guy he can trust. He thinks it might be him. Put on the glasses, pop. So that's a nice jab. And that's a big roundhouse right. Now we got a fight going on. So we got Keith in southpaw. His hands are a little bit low. Piper hasn't really taken up a stance. Swings and miss. Ooh, lots of punches by Keith. He doesn't take an advantage on the ground. He switches to orthodox, takes a punch to the body, and a jab cross to the face. Parries a jab, parries a jab, parries a jab, hits a cross. It's a back fist followed by maybe an elbow? Maybe a tight hook? It's hard to tell. Offering the hand of friendship. Helps him get back to his feet. And belts him again. Ooh, almost a low blow. Upward headbutt, nice. Forward headbutt. The advantage of pulling someone into your strikes, you are creating collisions. So, that's going to increase the force of the blow. Still trying to get him to wear the glasses. Almost stomps on the glasses and kicks Piper in his head when he bends over. This does seem like kind of an extreme response to being told to put on some sunglasses. You can do it once. If doing it once will solve everything, why wouldn't you do it? So that's like a sort of tackle drag down from behind. Body punch. Ooh, 2 body punches. Punch to the face. Double hand block followed by, looked like another back fist. We got a headlock. Pulls his head back. Punch to the body. And a suplex! Okay, that's actually really dangerous if there's concrete below you. Not any impact of the head on concrete can potentially lead to a skull fracture, bleeding in the brain, and a fatality. It's a move that could potentially end the fight, but also the guy's life. Be careful in your use of throws. Oh, we got a bite. That's nice. There's no rules on the street. So a punch from the ground, more punches. Now, they weren't using any conventional like ground and pound positions. That's no surprise. Again, it's 1988. You know, the mixed martial arts boom doesn't really begin until 1980 or 1993, and we don't see a whole lot of ground striking until a couple of years after that. So it was interesting seeing guys with all this space between each other, you know, throwing these big punches, you know, on the ground. He jumps on top of him, and he's using the ground by slamming Keith's head into. Whoa! Eye gouge! You don't do that to somebody if you want him to wear a pair of glasses. Ah! Jumping knees to the groin from the ground. Oh my god. I do tend to think of the groin shot as sort of being overrated by a lot of, you know, self-defense instructors and the general public. But I don't know if you took like 4 or 5 consecutive like diving knees to the crotch, how you're going to be feeling after that. Ah, drop toe hold. That's a pro wrestling move. You will see it in some classical martial arts like jiu-jitsu. Ooh. Swings the stick and misses. Another big swing. And now we're in a bludgeon fight. Got another tackle. Oof, more punches. It's easier to hit someone when they're pinned up against something than it is to hit someone when you're pinned against something. And I have to say, in reference to what I talked about a little earlier, I'm surprised that Piper's character is as up and about as he is. You know, that was a lot of hard shots to the nuts. So we're back into Slugfest. All right. This is a hammerlock. A step on the foot, lifts him up and sort of just drops him. All right, that was a weird way to sell that. Like, oh my body, and then he passes out. Might be playing possum. It's been a second since I've seen this fight scene. I want to draw some attention to David Keith's knuckles. I'm assuming this is the work of the makeup department. One thing I read on IMDb, which I couldn't confirm, was that they actually did go pretty hard with the body blows and made some contact. But it's nice for them to show that, yeah, I can use a mouse, that there's some scraping of the knuckles, which is what you would expect in a fight like this. It's a kidney punch. It's an elbow to the trap. Some body blows. That's a gut wrench suplex. You don't see that a whole lot, but it's more of like an old school professional wrestling move, you know. And now the fight is essentially over. You know, it ends with Piper forcing Keith to wear the glasses, and he sees the aliens for what they are. As far as realism goes, there's a lot of it here. It's a little uneven in tone. You know, like they both grab weapons, and then they both laugh about, well, Piper laughs about the stuff that happens with the weapons. And that's an interesting tone to take when you guys were like just about ready to bash each other's heads in. I would say overall, yeah, like lots of punches to the head, lots of punches to the body, as you might expect. The grappling that there was, you know, you had the big throws. We actually do see in a lot of, you know, presumably untrained street fights, a lot of people going for like basic throws and body slams. So I think that has a degree of realism to it. You're on the ground, somebody sticks their hand in your face and you bite it. I think that's a realistic response. I don't know, was there a whole lot unrealistic? I think some of the colliding with the ground should have taken more out of the guys. I think some of the selling was a little bit lacking. Like I said, Piper takes like, Keith is like getting airborne and driving his knee into Piper's groin repeatedly. he Piper might have wanted to take a second to sit down and collect himself after that. Like I said, I think it's as a shot it's a little bit overrated, but repeated shots there are going to have an effect on most people most of the time. My criticisms don't come down to the techniques that were used. It comes down more to the tone, and again, some of the what I refer to as selling. That's a pro wrestling terminology, appropriately enough, to express the damage that you have taken. Maybe an A minus. Especially given the effects of the makeup. They show a bite mark on Piper's hand with the makeup. They got their knuckles bloodied, they got their faces bloodied. You can see David Keith has a red spot on the back of his head in one of the later scenes. So, yeah, it's fairly realistic. Storytelling wise, I think that when it comes to storytelling, it's not bad. I do think it gets a little bit redundant. We got brawling, and then okay, here's a moment of tossing a guy on his head. Here's a moment of a guy biting another dude. Here's a moment where they grab weapons. It's still largely a brawl. Even having just watched it, it's a little hard for me to segment it up, even though it was pretty long. It's hard for me to remember the sequences in the order in which they happened, as far as like the big moments. With that being said, I did like a lot of those moments, like the picking the guy up and oh, we're friends now, and then I'm gonna hit him again. And I think that stuff, baiting the guy to bend down to pick up the glasses and kicking him in the head. I think that those moments help to tell a story. With that being said, it gets sort of dirty, and it's difficult for me to believe that these guys are going to cooperate afterwards. The thing about guys, a lot of times, is if guys have a knockdown, drag-out fight, a lot of times they're buddies afterwards, right? But this is a little bit different than just, let's throw down a little bit and then go our separate ways, get something to drink and then shake hands next time we see each other. There was some like eye gouging and biting and, coming at each other with, bottles and stuff. So I don't know how you would be all that friendly afterwards. I think there was good storytelling in here. I think taken as a whole, however, it does seem both repetitive and disjointed. And I'm not sure about the overall tone. On the one hand, I did like, they have a moment like, okay, we're getting crazy here, and Piper's character sort of laughing about it. I guess I'll give it a solid C. Like I said, there were good moments in there, and I liked that. But it's supposed to be about 5 minutes long. If I showed you a moment from 3 minutes in and a moment from 4.5 minutes in, could you tell where they took place during the course of the fight? Or would they just look the same? So that's one of the reasons I'm, sort of chopping down the score a little bit. But yeah, that's the fight, and that's this week. And thank you for watching. I put these out on the first and third Mondays of every month. And look forward to the next one, if you'd like. And I'll catch you later.